And whatever happened to, I'm Canadian. Why can't we unite by being Canadian? And that's where I feel a lot of stuff has gone left and right. We're Canadian. I can be a Canadian Sikh. We have Canadian Christians, we have Canadian Catholic, Canadian Muslims, Canadian Hindu. It doesn't matter, but let's unite around being Canadian. Not a skin color, not a faith background, but let's be Canadian and stand up for one another.
Yeah.
And Brent, our regional coordinator in Surrey, what are you excited about?
What's exciting right now, I think, is the fact that we get to vote for a Conservative without holding our nose. I think before, people for the longest time had to vote for a party that they didn't want to vote for, but there's nothing else to vote for. And this time there absolutely is another option there, and it's a positive option for Conservatives, for common sense voters. It's right here.
Is that we now have a clear distinction of who you want to vote for. We have a party on the right that is right. Let's keep it right. That's what I have to say is we've got the NDP, you've got the NDP light. They've basically supported the same issues. They voted together for the past 3 years. We now have a clear delineation of this is Conservative, that's the NDP, and who wants to vote with them on the left. So
a party that went along with the NDP, as Bruce was saying, when they didn't have to.
Yeah.
There's the NDP, there's the Conservatives, and there's the makeshift BC United that will flip-flop to whatever the new flavor of the month is. And I think everyone is sick of that. They want to support a party that has some backbone, that has some policies they can get behind, like scrapping the carbon tax, which would literally help mortgage rates and everything top to bottom. I think it was, 2% drop it could actually create in mortgage rates. I think that's a common sense solution, something that we can all get behind. And I truly think Conservatives and just regular British Columbians are going to be thinking that when they go to the polls.
Time to help the people at home.
Yeah, exactly. Bruce, any final comment?
Well, I think, I think John Rustad puts it right. So we've got three parties that are all on the left. The Greens, the NDP, and my former team. And three lefts don't make it right. So I think John's got it bang on with that. And, and here's the big thing. So Canadians have always been very, very polite when it comes to politics. We don't discuss it much. If you want to see a change, if you want to see a hope for your kids, you got to start talking with your neighbors and your friends and your family. And you got to give them a reason to get out and vote. There's now a viable solution out there, a common sense solution. So that's number one. You got to start talking with your friends and saying, look, things are not going well. What do we have to lose by voting for a party that actually seems to be, if that's their words, talking about common sense? The second thing is that unfortunately, parties need money to be able to go to battle, to buy airtime, to buy advertising, to buy signs, to do all of those things that parties need to do. And a donation, it doesn't matter whether it's $500 or $1,400, is definitely needed to be able to stock up the war chest. Here's the great news. The Conservative Party in the last quarter has raised more money than in the last 3 years. People are waking up. They are knowing that we're here. I'm doing my bit. I took a big challenge to cross the floor. It took a lot of courage. Trust me, my knees were shaking. If I can show that kind of courage, I would encourage you to reach into your pocket and do whatever you can to help us win the next fight. Because the next fight actually is not a fight, as I said, for myself. It's actually a fight for our kids and our kids' future. And we desperately need those donations to be able to do that. All parties do. But I encourage all the Conservative Party of British Columbia to donate for us. That can be your voice. And get behind the candidates. You can also, if you don't have money, you can volunteer. You can say, hey, you know what? I can put up signs. I can figure out, I'll get on the telephone banks. I can be a circle of influence on my social media. There are other things you can do other than just money. The word is getting out there, and I'm telling you what, you are going to see a wave across British Columbia, the likes of which we have never seen, because people have quite frankly had enough, and they are desperately looking for a future, and we're going to give that to them.